right. Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Fours, and
I am Graveyard. Welcome to On Time Say Wong. Kyber Cave After Dark.
welcome back, everybody, to another Kyber Cave After Dark. We are rocking this thing out tonight until Van gets here, whenever he is getting here. But you know what? We are happy to have you guys just the same. So, big shout out to all of you this week who have been paying attention, kind of joining the Kyber Cave for the Hearts of Kyber. Y'all who've been joining Mezzo and Aubrey on Wednesdays, and certainly a shout out to those who've been joining us on Thursday nights. We've been doing Zelda. We're going to continue to rock Zelda out for a couple more weeks, and then we're going to get straight into Diablo 4, which is going to be it's going to be a lot of fun. So, Say Wong, when Fours and Graveyard are in charge, things get started on time. I can promise you that. So, Mr. Husbeard, you want to let everybody know what it is we're going to be rocking out on here tonight?
Well, we're waiting for other people to show up. I believe our topics are going to be maternity and paternity laws in other countries, how they differ from our country, and behavior versus grades for children. What's more important? We all know what some states think. But without further ado, why don't you go ahead?
Oh, and here comes Mrs. Fours.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
How are you, dear?
Wow. Good job, me.
Can you hear us?
Yes.
And Say Wong is rocking out at Fanime Con.
Nice. How's it going,
Sweet.
So Wong there?
Hey, Say Wong.
How are you, dear?
Good. Good. Did we actually start on time?
Yes, we did. Thanks to the almighty powers of Husbeard and Fours.
Yes. I see. Van is not in the chat. Okay. Our Van's not here. That's what it is.
Correct. He's probably screaming at us right now from his car as he's driving back to get here.
I mean, he did say he was
on
going
time.
to. That's pretty funny.
We close at 3 a.m.
Yeah, sometimes they will. Uh-huh.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. They'll have late night panels.
Wow.
Like anime watching panels. Yeah. It's probably why there's only 2 people in the chat, which is.
Yeah. Anime Fest Orlando and MegaCon both do that. They run till 3 a.m. and typically after 11 o'clock, it's all 18 plus. For,
yes.
reasons.
Tentacles.
Yeah, for reasons.
Never done that ever.
Nope.
I've never gone to any of those 18 plus panels. Never.
No. I mean, it's not like I went to a 15-hour movie marathon for horror last year.
Never.
Oh my god, it's disturbing, isn't it?
Actually, I that's how I saw Bible Black, and let's just say I hated it.
Oh, of course, it's
it's one of the most messed up animes I've ever seen, and I ended up leaving like the second to last episode. I left, and I ranted for like an hour or something like that about how I wanted to kill the main villain. That was how upset I was at this story. The
fact that you made it to the second to last episode speaks volumes.
I was so invested in the story, and then I was like, "Fuck this game, or not game. Fuck this anime. Fuck this hentai." I was so pissed. Like, I got so mad, I had to leave. I was just like, I was like, I can't. I was just getting more and more filled with rage, and at the very. I was like, I can't do it. I walked out. Then I was like, oh my god! And this poor guy. I only met him like that weekend, and he got to listen to me rant for like 45 minutes to an hour straight about how awful, how much I wanted to kill the fucking main villain.
And how's that friendship going today?
We never spoke again.
Wow.
But I mean. Watching it for the story is a whole thing. That's a thing. Because actually the story is fantastic. I mean, obviously, since I got so angry, I wanted to kill the main villain. So, yep.
But
I came on for a story.
how are you doing today, Captain? I don't think we haven't spoken since last week.
I know. What's up with that? I don't know. We would be speaking more
If
if we played Lord of the Rings.
Oh shit.
that game doesn't exist, I don't know what you're talking about. You're talking about Gollum, right? That has a 40% review, which is more highly reviewed than that game.
Barely.
Did that come out yet?
To abysmal reviews, yeah. Awful.
Yeah. Apparently
Awful.
it's pretty bad. Yeah. Well,
Oh wow.
so on Van is driving home.
We're
He's we're assuming.
Say, Wong, are we not good enough hosts for you?
Yeah. He just couldn't take the fact that I was actually talking about a hentai. It blew his brain. What? A girl's talking about hentai?
See, there you go. That's how we get more views on this channel.
That's so bad.
Am I wrong?
Demon Sex Queen is the best hentai though. That hentai is so funny. I could not help myself, but I laughed so hard all the
For
time.
the love of God. Okay.
It has so many WTF moments. You're just like, what the heck am I watching? What am I watching? Randomly, there's a scene where there's a monkey shooting someone. It's so funny.
Never seen Hit
Anyway.
Monkey? Come on. That's like Marvel comic.
No.
Oh. But yes, after I come back from vacation, we will get to Lord of the Rings, I promise.
Oh,
We'll
okay.
finish
I mean,
it off.
we don't have to do just Lord of the Rings. We could do others.
I mean,
I just
you're
feel
correct.
sad.
We don't have to finish a game.
No, we have to finish the game, but we don't have to just only do the game. That
There you go.
game.
So,
Yes.
Mrs. Fours,
Yes.
since you weren't with us last night, which I'm still very sad about.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I made mention something that I did for you,
Oh,
and now you get to see it.
yay.
All right, you ready?
Yep.
Okay, I did this just for you. Oops, shit. We're going back in here.
Oh, yes. You're doing OG Ocarina of Time Link. Hell yeah.
I went and got
Hell yeah.
boom, boom.
OG Ocarina of
Boom.
Time Link. Yes.
But he's cold.
He's very cold.
He's very cold.
But I got him.
Nice. Yay.
And for me,
I knew it was OG.
and for me,
Uh-huh. You got
Boom,
the Twilight.
boom.
Yeah.
boom. Yes. But for now, but I very, very much enjoy venturing in this gear because it
brings all the nostalgia feels.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, no Triforce in the game.
I
Weird.
know.
Yeah. Well, Sailong, we appreciate you watching while you're working the con.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I've cosplayed as Link. I even made a Navi to play.
Hey, listen.
Hey, listen.
Oh,
Hi.
no. Not here, too. I have one upstairs.
Hey, listen.
So, fun
Yeah.
fact: if in this particular game, when the Master Sword glows, it makes the same sound as it does in Skyward Sword.
Nice.
Let's see if I can make it straight into this chasm.
Mm.
All right. Do we want to get into our topics? I don't know which one's supposed to be the fun one of these two.
So if you bring up the maternity, I went ahead and pulled up the facts on it.
Okay. Let's
Nice.
get into that then. Shall we?
So,
I just thought it would be more interesting and more fun just to talk about anime and all the uncomfortable things there, just to get Mr. Fours and Graveyard even more uncomfortable.
Honey, I've been watching anime for
I meant hentai anime.
27 years, and I've seen my share. So there's nothing that you can mention that will bring discomfort to me.
Okay.
I watch horror movies. You think anything's going to shock and appall me? Come on.
I mean, can you even call yourself a follower of anime if you do not know what La Blue Girl is?
Oh wow, that.
Mm-hmm.
I have. Yeah. Yep.
Uh-huh.
That scarred me. Mm-hmm.
It's pretty
I
bad.
don't know.
So, speaking of things that are
Actually,
scarring, maternity leave.
yeah.
Slash
Same with
paternity.
yeah. Same with Perfect Blue. Perfect Blue messed me up.
Yep. All right.
Show. Anyway, let's do this.
So, maternity leave / paternity leave laws in different countries. So, let's get started with some facts.
Hit us
So, when
with
it
those
comes to
facts.
when it comes to maternity leave, let's go ahead and just go down the line here. So, in Canada, parents can get 16 weeks at 49% pay.
Mm.
Yeah. Germany, they get 14 weeks at 100% pay.
Mm-hmm.
In India, 26 weeks at 100% pay.
Mm-hmm.
Half a year
Yes.
paid.
Yep.
In France, they get 16 weeks at 90%. Sweden, almost 13, 12.9. Interesting. So, 13 weeks at 77%. In
Interesting.
Italy, they get 21 weeks at 80%. Mexico, almost 3 months at 100% pay. And in Norway, 13 weeks at 94%.
And America.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and it's America's.
So I'm assuming that's the comparison that we were trying to make on this fun topic.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, in the United Kingdom, 39 weeks.
Yep.
So, yeah. And that's at 30%.
Still better than nothing.
That's very true. Let's see. Australia, over in Australia, 18 weeks at 42%.
Okay.
And let's find good old America. In America, you burn your vacation time. And then when you're out, you come back or you don't get paid.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yep, that sounds about right.
Because
So people were turned away from what?
The final comment line lasted till the registration closed.
Oh, okay. All I could think of was, for some reason, all I could think of was like it was the final countdown. Like, okay, final fanime comment. I was like, the final countdown.
Yeah.
Demonetized.
I know, right?
Okay, I'm gonna shut up now.
So let me start by asking the question of everybody on the screen and in our comments section. All one of you there, say Wong.
Yeah,
So,
it's a party of one with
I know,
4
right?
people apparently watching that are commenting on nothing here. Thanks.
So Husbeard, in your
Yes.
opinion,
Mhm.
how long should a couple have after their baby is born to have off? Let's not even factor in pay. Let's just, hey Thomas, factor in
a party of 2. Hey Thomas.
Let's start with time. How much time do you believe parents should have after their baby is born? Start there.
Okay, so as your comment about America was 100% correct for my case every single time.
Based on experience with 2 kids, yeah.
3, yeah. So for me, yeah. So it was a week vacation,
Mm-hmm.
and I came back.
Oh, jeez.
Every single time.
That's for paternity leave?
Yes.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
Now, I don't know maternity leave because my wife was not working. So that wasn't an issue for that. But it's still a thing, right?
Where, Thomas?
I think Thomas is saying that's what men should get. So I think I think it should be. Yeah, I agree. I think it's the routine to get a child into routine. Most children take about 2 or 3 months if you stick to the routine.
Right.
Now, I know someone personally close to me that doesn't follow routine. I don't want to say who it is because they may listen, may know who I'm talking about. And child is almost a year and there's still no routine. But she got, I think, 4 months paid leave.
Mm-hmm.
But it really just it depends. Obviously the mothers for a lot of cases, back in the day, the formula was always a thing. Formula was able to be a thing. So I think mothers should have more recovery time because it is considered a major procedure.
Extremely.
Yes, it is very detrimental to the body.
So my wife was told by her doctor after both pregnancies, 6 months recovery.
Yes.
But my kids were C-sections, so both of them. But minimum 6 months recovery. And she was also instructed no intimacy for 6 months following that. And sure as shit, we followed the doctor's orders. Sucked, but we followed the doctor's orders. And sure enough, proper healing took place. So,
That's good.
You follow the doctor's orders, but
usually they say about 6 weeks, but that makes sense. 6 to 8 weeks.
Well,
recovery time for intimacy.
The bodily organs need to go back into place. They are jammed up into the rib cage horribly.
A woman goes through so many changes. Like her body goes through so much stress during pregnancy.
Well, they say that ages a body 11 years.
Wow.
Overall, the amount of trauma is 11 years worth of trauma.
Yeah, it's a lot. I mean, so it takes time for it to come.
Now, recovery can be sped up, obviously, especially with our recent discoveries over the past 4 years with, health, well-being, proper human diet, things like that. I mean, there are things that, for example, my daughter's dance instructor. She's been dancing her entire life. She just had her first baby, and within 2.5 months, proper nutrition, continuing to exercise, she's back to near perfect form. Because she eats right, she takes care of herself, she stretches properly. She was not hard on herself. She handled the pregnancy very well, and she's in fantastic shape, just really good form, very, very healthy baby, healthy family, healthy life. So not all ladies are going to be the same in recovery time. A lot of it depends on genetics. A lot of it depends upon the pregnancy. And a lot of it just really depends upon how they handle the post baby care.
I mean, but there are some women that really have a really hard pregnancy. Like I know women who've had their hair has fallen out, their teeth fell out, got,
and it affects
horrible
it affects people.
Yeah.
It affects people so differently. So next question. So we've got the amount of time out of the way. So what do you feel about?
And that's not even including
the pay scale.
Pay scale.
I mean, so there's always that argument, right? I've unfortunately have worked at some companies in my career where they don't give a crap about it. As long as you're able to work, you're going to work. And if you don't work, you don't get paid. And that is the American way of you have to work to get paid. Now, the idea of insurance, the idea of all this stuff should take care of the pay, right? I mean, yes, unfortunately, most people need their paychecks, and even the 50% pay is detrimental for a lot of cases.
Yeah, but at least it's better than nothing.
Correct. Now, I think, you should be able to have, I think you need 3 to 4 months. And then if you decide to do more than that, then you start getting the pay scale down.
Yeah.
Because like I said, it's really just a matter of getting into that routine and getting back to what the new norm is supposed to be. And hopefully then, if pending everything works well, is that they're able to eventually go back to work. Now, I think the dads need to be there for 1 to 2 to 3 months as well, because they should be part of that routine.
I agree.
Goes with it
because postpartum depression is a thing.
Right.
There's also, trying to get, if the mother is taking care of the baby and she's the only one, there's almost no sleep she's getting.
Correct.
And she's doing so much of that labor. So yeah, I agree that men should also get time off to help their partner out.
Now, I think the idea of this is only been in the past 45 years where women went
Mhm.
back into the workforce, because before then you didn't really have to worry about that. Men usually took a couple of days off and then went back to work. And that's just the way it was, because the lifestyle changes, the way that everyone, the gender roles that are in play is
Yep.
they didn't go under it. So a lot of companies think that's the same way for the fathers, is they didn't go through the the medical procedure, if
Right.
you will. Therefore they should be able to work.
Hmm.
So let me ask this question: in our new world
Mhm.
of the majority of working class citizens being able to work from home, do you
Yes.
believe that that should affect the amount of time that parents can take off for child care during the first, let's say, 6 to 8 weeks?
Hmm.
Do you think that there should be certain hours in the day after, say, the first 3 or 4 weeks, where if it's a work at home job, that the mom could get back to the desk for maybe a reduced amount of hours and get some work done and still provide that postnatal care? What do you think about that?
As long as the company understands that, if it depends, if, a lot of people work from home, deal with clients, and if you hear a screaming child in the background, if you're on hold with someone, you hear a screaming child, you go, oh, this person's working from home, and therefore inherently don't trust them and then trust the company as much. So
Mhm.
it's double-edged sword, because I think you should be able to work from home. I think, especially in my field, I've always had the capability of working from home, but they never wanted
Hmm.
to do it. COVID happened, they go, okay, now you guys can work from home.
Mhm.
Right. And production actually increased, not decreased, for the
Absolutely.
most part.
But it just, like I said, it just depends. If you have to be on, because the problem is, while I work from home, is you have to be on Zoom, you have to be on a Ring Central, you have to be on some camera all the time, and they have to understand you're going to have a child, and they have to be okay with it.
Hmm.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, our companies suck a lot here in this country, and so they said
Tyrants.
you can't have that. I my sister got dinged during COVID. She was a teacher, and her daughter was in the background because she was 3. She
Mm.
got in trouble for that, even though because she's supposed to be working. She's still a mom, and her daughter's also home from 3, not in school.
That's right, Swisted. I agree. 100% eat the rich.
So, for
Nom
what
nom,
I
they
mean,
taste good.
what were your experiences? What do you think about your questions here? Time frame wise, pay wise, work from home.
Well, so let me begin with the experience. Back in, gosh, early 2000s, when my son was born, um, I personally was granted um, 2 weeks
Hmm.
of paternity leave. My wife was granted 6 weeks. She was asked by her boss to return in 4 to get straight
Wow.
back to work. When Leia came along in 2008,
Mm.
um, my boss at the time said, however
Ouch.
much vacation you have saved up, we'll let you burn. If you
Mm.
want additional time after that, you are allowed to take it as per the FMLA Act. You guys know what the FMLA Act
Family
is?
medical leave. Yep.
Correct.
Oh,
So
if I'm
I
medical leave.
can
Okay.
take it as per the rights of the FMLA Act. However, it's 100% unpaid.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up taking 2 weeks, got paid for it, took an additional week unpaid.
Yep.
So that sucked. And then my wife at that time was then asked to return in 2 weeks after a C section.
Jeez.
So yeah. Um, freaking sucks.
It totally does.
So, my opinion. So,
Makes me scared.
as per Mrs. Ford's statement, all women's bodies are different.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, recovery time is going to be different per each mom.
It
Um,
also, I mean, like you were saying though too, it does depend on how healthy the mom is, and how much they take care of the body and nutrition and all that.
So, do you think it should be a doctor's determination?
I think there should be I think there should be a nationwide doctors collaboration utilizing statistics, actual statistics of mothers who've given birth, the general average amount of time it would take for one to heal,
Mhm.
and then go based off those numbers. Now, what really sucks is that because a lot of companies are either privately owned or the corporately owned, it is their discretion, number one, if they want to grant the time off. Number
Right.
two, if they even want to pay. Now, the FMLA Act is in place for a reason so that parents can familiarize themselves with their babies and their babies can familiarize themselves with their parents. That's something that goes without saying. But too many companies out there in this country are of the if you're not making me money, piss off attitude. We just can't fire you because they
Right.
can't. They
Yep.
can't. They can't fire a person for having a baby.
Doesn't
They
mean
can
that they
redu-
haven't done it.
right, but
They've
they
done
can
it though.
reduce their hours to 0.
Right. They've basically effectively done that before.
Yes. And then as per a lot of businesses in this
Loopholes
country,
are great.
when your hours are at 0 for set amount of weeks, then they can fire you based upon that.
Yep.
So there are loopholes and there are plenty of lawyers who defend that. But back to your question there, Husbeard, what is my opinion on time and pay? Number one, I think there should be paid paternity and maternity leave. I do believe it.
Mhm.
At minimum 65% of the payroll. 65%. If workers comp people are making more than new parents, we got a problem.
Yes.
Yeah.
Number two, I personally believe that guys should get at least a month and women should get at least minimum 3 whole months.
Yeah.
Minimum, bare minimum. And
Well, so
and
they've
then upon returning to work should be an optional reduced hour schedule. But still continue to maintain full-time benefits. That's my opinion.
I think it's a great opinion. Also, the thing is that we have seen, like through studies and such, that babies actually need that time to bond with parents, or else there will be psychological problems.
Yes, there will. Absolutely. Now, not every single time.
Not every single time, but
it is
it's enough to
scientifically
where,
proven.
yeah, it's been scientifically proven. Attachment style is very important. Also, trust and distrust. Like, you don't want to create an anxious attachment style, which is what a lot of these companies are forcing parents to do, basically, because they don't get that actual bonding time with their kids. In those critical stages of development. Now, after 6 months, you still do, but you can put that child in a routine, like you were saying, where they can still get that care that they need, but also the parent can go back to work. And I do think that it's about 6 months minimum for a woman to fully heal.
Mm-hmm. Especially from C-sections.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
I mean, even pushing a watermelon-sized thing out of a hole that's this big. I mean, it does dilate, but that's going to be terribly.
Well, that also varies from woman
Wow.
to woman too, because my wife was in labor for delivering 3 babies in a grand total of 9 minutes altogether.
Good for her.
Yeah. So, but I mean, so what do you think is stopping our country from having these laws in place? Is it our freedom? Is it
greed?
Greed.
It's
Corporate
corporate greed.
Yeah.
It's
absolutely.
and it's the corporate attitude that we as individuals are expendable, which we are not, and they're going to find that out real quick. You get rid of one good worker, it's going to take at least a year and a half to make your next worker just that good.
Yes.
At least, yeah.
Yeah.
Proven. So
I mean, how do you guys feel? You always hear about other countries in France and in the UK and stuff like that, where in Sweden you have a baby, the government also gives you a care package, gives you the crib, gives you diapers, gives you formula and stuff like that, and they are encouraging and make sure that everyone has the mental well-being that they're supposed to have.
And they're happier, but they're also happier as a country overall.
Right.
So yeah, I think that's actually a good thing. I don't know why we're not more citizen minded. We should be.
Yes.
Well,
Only in America.
so this, geez Louise, I'm going to pay for this.
Yes, you are. But go ahead.
No, that's what it is. But I mean, I'm going to call things for what I have experienced in my own life, and I have seen it, and it is very, very prominent in Florida.
Okay.
Sometimes you have those people who literally just want to have children for the government benefits. And
they
you
say that
get
all over the place.
one bad apple that spoils the entire bunch, because you could have a very hard working, low income family who tries their very, very best and they're barely scraping by.
Oh,
but then
do we have graphics?
Apparently, yeah. Let me pull up a graphic. I know. There we go.
There we go. Ah, look how nice this is. Awesome. U.S. requires 12 weeks of unpaid leave. Fantastic.
Yes. So there you go. Thank you, Mezzo, for that graphic. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. And Bulgaria, wow. Bulgaria is 60 months. That's amazing.
Mm-hmm. Isn't that ridiculous?
No, I think that's.
No,
I mean,
saying,
obviously.
I'm saying
for us. Okay.
Look at how much assistance these parents get, and then look at us as a country, and look how much we got to struggle.
Yeah,
we are literally punished for reproducing.
And
we're punished.
More. She said, "There's one more." There we go.
Yeah. Yeah, about up to a year. Wow, that's really cool. 52 weeks total. It's really interesting.
Yeah,
but I mean, even in places where they're not considered to be third, or that they're considered still, quote unquote, second or third world countries. Some of these, and they still do better. Still do better than we do.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, this topic is depressing me.
Yeah, this is the fun one, right? Yeah.
Jeez.
Well, thank you, Matzo. I didn't know if the slides were going to be visible for mine, so thank you for getting that there. Yeah, so I mean that just shows how bad our country really is, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
well, the government. I mean, honestly, it's like if the government takes care of their citizens, it has actually been proven in studies that these countries that are quote unquote lazier than we are actually produce a lot more, because they give people time for their mental health. Yes. And time to relax. They're not living to work, they're working to live.
Correct.
And it's different. And that includes the maternity leave. It's like, okay, so you have to take time off for your baby. That doesn't make you less of an important member of this society or citizenry. And overall, that actually helps to increase production. We noticed for the pandemic, we actually, like the fact that most people, stayed home to work, that actually increased production. But we were one of the few, we were one of the, our compensation for the pandemic for not being able to go to work was so drastically minimalized comparatively to the other countries. This goes to show how much, our country actually cares about us.
And yet, the other countries are happier, but we are the most patriotic country in the world.
I thought it was very interesting that people here who were making between $13 and $15 an hour quit their jobs, straight up just quit, just so that they can apply for the unemployment to make $16 an hour on unemployment. Mm-hmm. And they got away with it.
Oh, yeah.
And they did it.
Yeah.
Pandemic. I don't care. I don't care. I honestly have no problem with that. I have no problems with any of that, because honestly, the government should have been compensating us for making us stay at home.
Well, and I think on the graphic that Meto made for us, and it shows in the countries that have that stuff is, you know, if companies are doing this for you, you're going to have employee retention more often than not.
Yes, you're gonna have loyalty. People
Yeah,
are not gonna want to leave these jobs that treat their
correct.
employees well. A lot of times we get shat on here in America. We don't with our the companies. They don't care. They can just be like, oh, we can fire you at any time. That's not what
And
happens in other countries.
that's called a right to work
At
state.
free, right? At free will employment, I
It's called
believe.
free will employment, meaning we have you have the right to quit, just as no, you have the right to be employed. Meaning
Right,
we can fire you
right.
at
I
any
mean, any
time
time
for
without
any reason.
notice.
Matter of fact, I got right to work stated from my last job.
Mm.
Yeah, I said that shit.
So, what do you think would happen in this country if we had these laws put in place? If, against all odds, the two sides were all able to come to agreements and set this in place, we know one side's going to say no, people need to work, and other people are like, well, health and well-being and work and life balance is more important too. What do you think would happen if this was going in place? Do you think we'll see more people trying to abuse the loopholes? Do you think we'll see countries actually companies adhere to it?
You will always, always, always have those individuals who will abuse it every
Mm-hmm.
single time. There are people out there who just
You tried to
believe
game
if
the
I have
system.
another kid, I don't have to work.
Well, okay, so here's what's interesting. So I've actually done research based on the welfare that myth that most women will have babies for welfare, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that can happen because there are people that do slip through those cracks. But on the whole, that actually is a myth that's perpetuated to make people scared of the welfare system. That's not what it's there for, and that's not what it's actually used for. It's actually very hard to get on welfare and stay on welfare, and that's actually a fact. That's but the not the left but the right tend to use a lot of that as fear mongering to make people less um more hesitant to go to welfare,
Yes.
get themselves out of trouble. So that whole thing of like, oh well, she's a welfare mom, that simply isn't true anymore, especially anymore. It's not, because it's so hard to get on welfare. I know people have tried to get on welfare who needed welfare, couldn't. It was so hard to break through. Same thing with when you're trying to get on to unemployment. It is actually so hard
It's
to get
hella
on to
hard.
unemployment. And not only that, it is so hard to stay on unemployment. And they literally make it as hard for you as you can. So when the pandemic hit and I had to get on unemployment, I didn't feel bad about getting on unemployment because they screwed me over so many times on unemployment. I was like, I don't care. I just simply don't care. You guys have screwed me over enough on unemployment. I'm going to get my back on employment that I should have gotten years ago.
Yeah. So, I think this is how I always have this argument with people in my family. Very, you know, liberal compared to my family. Um, and I think this would apply to this as
Educated.
well. This
I
would
think it's
apply to this as
educated is
well.
the word there, Dampy.
Yeah, I think it applies to this as well. Though, is a Democrat is worried that you know one person isn't getting the assistance they need,
Right.
and I'm applying this to maternity leave as well. You say people may abuse the system. As a
May.
Democrat, you're concerned about the one person who's not getting it that actually needs it, and Republicans are concerned about the one person that might be abusing it versus the 99 that aren't.
Even though they the top 1% go and abuse the system all the time. Yeah, okay. Sure.
But I mean, my concern is if we were to pass these laws in this country that would have, they're probably going to say, companies will say, we'll just take our business elsewhere. We'll go to another country and our headquarters will be there. And therefore, we don't have to follow these maternity and paternity laws because our headquarters are not in the United States.
Well, I mean,
That's
they
very
already do. They move a lot of them already overseas, anyways, just
yeah.
so they can get the tax loopholes. We almost have no actual businesses here, like warehouses and stuff. We have basically none. All of it comes from across seas anyway.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And you also
So
got to
all you have to
remember
do is just
something.
make it so their tariffs are really, really high if they're doing that.
And you also got to remember that as a country, we are some serious spenders. Like, it
Yeah.
doesn't matter if a corporate headquarters is here or if it's over in another country. As long as their goods are put into a store or into an Amazon warehouse, we gonna buy it.
Hmm.
That's just how it is. Um, I mean, it's a sad truth. And don't rewind a little bit. Don't get me wrong here on the whole uh abuse the system thing. The only reason I brought that up is because I've witnessed it. I've actually lost friends over that particular subject. And
So
they're like, well, we don't give an F what anybody thinks, as long as Uncle Sam's paying my bills, I'm gonna do what I want. I've literally I've been kicked to the curb by people with belief systems like that, and sure as shit they continue doing it, and I'm like, okay, but eventually, y'all are gonna have to work for a living.
it just seems like those are I don't know,
Very
1 to 5.
small
Yeah,
percentage. You're absolutely right, but
like 1 to 5%.
it's disheartening to know that they exist. That's
And
the point I'm trying to make. It's like, why, why is the system set up to where certain people feel like they just have to do that, where you have another couple, like I mentioned earlier, who are following all the rules, they're working as hard as they can, they're living paycheck to paycheck, and it's just so hard for them to reap the exact same benefits,
Yes.
and
it
that's
it
not
has to
right.
do it has to do with moral obligation. They're expecting you to be moral on it in a way. And sometimes people feel like they've got so much taken away from them that they just don't care. I think it's apathy to a degree. It's also that we're taught that, as America, we are actually taught to screw over each other to get ahead.
Oh yeah.
Whereas other places like Japan are taught that communal effort is really, really important. This is why theft is not a huge crime. There's not a lot of theft in Japan because of that.
Now let me
They
ask y'all a very, very interesting question, because this
I love the
subject was,
question king. It's really
well,
great. You're
when
the
I
question
don't
king.
when
What?
I don't know about a lot of
It's
things, I
fun.
like to ask. This was brought up on talk radio a few weeks ago, and I want to know what
Okay.
you guys think about this.
Yes.
It was reported, shit. It was reported that America now has recorded more millionaires than ever before in our country's history. We are also recorded as having more side money, money that is not reported to the government.
Hmm.
So immediately, you know me, where does my brain go when people have a lot of money that they don't really look like they should have a lot of money? That huge YouTube check and that OnlyFans check.
Possibly.
So
You found me out.
only
Damn, I
beard.
knew those beard shavings were getting a lot of views on OnlyFans. Man.
So here's my question. Do you
Yes.
believe that with the recognizing of
Hmm.
these folks who are making 100, 200,000 a month off YouTube, or they're making, 5, 6 digits off OnlyFans doing questionable things, should the same benefits apply if they're making literally that much money under the table?
The same benefits being unemployment and all that stuff.
Well,
And it's
so
just with so I mean, I'm not really certain what you're trying to get at the point. I mean, if you make over a certain amount already, you're gonna game the system just because once you get into that bracket of the 1%, you can go through so many loopholes you almost don't have to pay anything on your taxes.
and that's the answer I was looking for.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
And it's
absolutely true.
unreported, but the truth is they just have so many loopholes that they don't have to report that
Mm-hmm.
because they're already making over a certain amount. I mean, Bezos paid nothing in taxes, so
He did it. Oh, man.
no, he didn't. He made $8 trillion in 2020 and paid nothing in taxes.
I'm very shocked and appalled by this news.
I know, right?
I'm very surprised.
Yes.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
we should ring the lights of Gondor. We should ring the bells because Gondor is calling for
The
aid.
beacons of Minas Tirith.
The beacons of Minas Tirith are lit.
Okay, so
Our thoughts
I
and
want
prayer. And here's Rohan going. Our thoughts and prayers go to the people of Minas
Thoughts and
Tirith.
prayers are with you.
so here's a
Hey.
question I have for the two of you.
Hmm.
Yes,
Do you think
I
that
might have answered.
the maternity leave laws would be different in this country if we went back to generational households where you had family helping take care of the kids like they do in these other countries? And would generational households help make this crap that we're facing with these essentially zero laws be better if you had grandma and grandpa that were able to live with you or lived with you and help take care of the kid ahead of time?
I think some of that can be negated. But anyway, what were you going to say, Mr. Force?
It really depends upon the household, and it also depends upon the relationship status between a new parent and their parent.
Mhm.
You could have very toxic parents-in-law
Mm-hmm.
who can be very overbearing and very um, overwhelming with their take of the baby.
True.
You can have,
Yeah.
you can have grandma trying to be mom again,
Mhm.
which has been known to happen. And then sometimes you have those grandparents who kind of just want to exist, which I've seen that too. I don't really deem multi-generational households to be a necessity. I think if everybody, communication's key. If
Yes.
everybody's on board, and everybody knows what their role is, then yeah, it could be a fully functioning, happy, joyful household. I mean, you know, it, I will say this out loud on the internet: pregnancy should not be a burden. It should be a
No.
joyful time. You're bringing a brand new life into the world. That's a celebratory time. You should be like doing backflips of joy for bringing a new life into the world. So of course I would expect that a household, especially a multi-gen one, to be on board. Like how amazing is it to tell your parents, hey, you're going to be grandparents? Like I remember, geez, my mom was already sick. We had to go to the hospital to tell her she was going to be a grandmother, but you know what, it
Mm-hmm.
absolutely brightened her month.
Hmm.
So she was really, really happy. And then, we told my dad and he was like, yeah, all right, look at this. So yeah, I mean, you don't want to put more stress on an already stressed new mom's mind. You
As I
just,
said, postpartum depression is a real thing, especially if you have
Yes,
added stress to it.
when it comes down to that little baby, the mother is that lifeline. The mother is that lifeline. That was home for the first 9 months.
Like, I mean, okay, everyone in the chat too, you guys are more than welcome to be in this discussion too. This isn't just a three of us discussion. We love it if you guys interact and comment down below, please. All five of you in here, which probably half of it is from Kyber Cave, but hey, please comment down below for us. But yes, I agree with you. I agree that this is. Oh my god, I lost it. I do. I agree with you that the woman does so much of the work. I do think she should be allowed that time, and pregnancy should be a joy, not a burden. It shouldn't be like, oh shit, I'm pregnant. Oh shit, I'm pregnant. What am I gonna do? Like, it shouldn't be that breaking, that life breaking. It's just like getting cancer. It's like this should not. It's part of the whole health care crisis, and what's interesting is in the 70s and 80s, yeah, we had our problems then, but before all the tax cuts happened, there actually was funding for these things. It didn't break our banks to have children or to have health care. So that's why I'm for taxing the 1%.
Yeah. So I don't know about you, Mr. Forrest, and how your hospitals operate down there in Florida.
Oh
That
my
you
god,
get
dude.
celebratory gator. But
Wow, he went there. Rude.
I'll let that
so
slide once.
He went there. Wow.
my kids are between 8 and 11 right now. And so my older sisters had kids well before I had kids, so they're already older. But my in-laws were having kids at the same time as I was. Now, my brother-in-law went to a hospital a couple towns away, and what they got from the hospital was a lobster dinner as a congratulations, and they get a lobster dinner. Where I
Wow.
went, we got a car seat. So,
Dude.
I mean,
Was it a nice car seat?
yeah, it's a free car seat. It's tested. It's verified. They test the
Oh, I would
machines,
take
everything.
the car seat over the lobster dinner any day.
Right. And you go, yeah, okay, once again, it's a hospital food lobster dinner. Keep that in mind.
Oh my.
Oh my.
Versus a car seat. I thought that was really, really interesting that we got a car seat. And to me, that shows that there's the hospital we went to had great care and wanted to make sure that everyone that came to their hospital had at least a car seat. We had car seats. What did we do? We gave it to our parents, so they had a car seat too. So it wasn't always a swapping of things. Now, did you get, your kids are a couple years older than me before? Did your kids, your hospitals give you anything like that down there?
We got a bill.
Oh, I mean, I got
what
that
we
too.
got.
I mean, that's what I've seen for I've never seen anyone get a car seat over here for having a child. They just got a, $20,000 bill.
Oh, those are great. I love them.
Fantastic. Even for the shittiest care you can get. Yeah, here's your overinflated bill. Thank you. Come again. Like, screw you.
Okay,
No.
so
I'm just like a bundle of joy here when I'm talking about this.
No, I'll do you one
Just
better.
seem like-
What happened with Leia was that the hospital was really crafty. They sent the billing up first to get all the registration and everything done before we had an opportunity to get insurance for that tiny little child. They came up and did all the paperwork and slipped Ashley all that paperwork and everything first, so
While
that they
she
could.
was in labor?
No, after the birth was done, but they
What?
did all the paperwork before they allowed us to get Leia insured, so we had to pay full price.
What?
They did that to us. And I asked them, I said, we need to get her on insurance. I need to contact the insurance company. And they said, no, we're billing you now. I said, well, our little baby who was just born doesn't have insurance. And they're like, that's not our problem.
Yep.
That is
reason number 478 why I really just want to fucking leave Florida, because screw you, Florida.
Just, I can't even just fathom that type of bullshittery. Like, even like your wife's recovering and they're like, here, sign all these papers. Because
yeah, they pushed the paperwork on her while I was gone getting her food.
I think I told you guys before, my quick horror story was my wife was covered by insurance, and before my first kid was born, covered by insurance. The process of getting an insured person out of an insured person was not covered.
yeah, it's because honestly, like, healthcare hates women. Just saying. I'm just being honest here.
They cost more money.
They don't.
Well, trust me, my when I got married, my insurance rates went way up.
Oh, I'm sure it did. I have no idea why. It's honestly, it's ridiculous. Because, a lot of times I mean, I've heard so many horror stories of women in delivery rooms. I cannot tell you how messed up it is. They don't listen to them, to their body. Like,
yeah. So
like they try to take their choices away from them. They have horrible, because they're ones where the nurses literally would like hold the baby's head so she couldn't push, so a woman could not push. There's so many. It's mind-boggling. And then they're like, oh no, but you cost more to us.
So here's if you had to say 2 or 3 things you'd fix in this country for the maternity laws, what would you say they would be, and how easy do you think they would be to enact?
Unfortunately, because our top 1% is greedy mofos, and don't really care about us. I'd say it would be hard to pass, but I would definitely, you know, um, make paternity and maternity leave paid.
Hmm.
I would definitely raise the amount of time for that. I would, um, when it comes to, I've changed a lot about the healthcare. I mean, laws, anyways, but I would like to see women being listened to more, really, in the healthcare system as it is, um, especially when it comes to birth rights.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's super important. I mean, the ability to have choice is just as important as having children. And women should be able to have that choice.
Now, with postpartum being a more known thing and more seemingly more common, do you think part of the visit should be a mental health check?
Yes, I do. I do think there should be follow-up visits for mental health check because women often get ignored for that. And then
Yes.
unfortunately, like when a woman goes, she does something irrational, men are, I mean, people, not well, men, but not just men, but people are like, what? How could she have done that? Well, because nobody listened to her when she was trying to say she needed help,
Yeah. Forrest, what do you think? Yeah.
unfortunately.
Forrest, what do you think you would change if you had the power? What do you think we'd be able to do it in this country?
What I would do is the same goddamn thing I've been saying for 2 years now. We need to work on the quality of health in our health system, period. The
Mm-hmm.
women who give
Agreed.
birth need the time and that off work compensation to recover back to a healthy state. We
Yes.
cannot continue to maintain this corporatized mind of quantity makes better work. No, it does not. If you do not have healthy, quality workers with a good quality of life, which includes resting and recovery, work production's going to suffer. I'm actually speaking to the corporate machine right now. The corporate machine would actually work better if the quality of the employees putting out the work is high quality, meaning your workers are healthy, they're
Mm-hmm.
respected, and they're cared for, meaning women have ample time to recover, have any difficulties during that recovery covered,
Hmm.
and then make sure that when they return, they have the state of mind that they are not replaceable.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Period. Once we get to that spot, things will improve. My fear currently with this new AI thing we're stepping into is that now the quantity of workers will be reduced because we have AI and machines working machines that work machines to give us our pesticide fruit. So, what do you think will happen if you have a company that already does not care about its workers, including maternity and paternity leave, when they've got a machine who can easily replace them?
Mm-hmm.
Now it's all about quantity. You pay for the machine once, you pay for the repairs, or you continue to pay for an employee 2 weeks after 2 weeks. So you want good work, you want good life, you want good
That's
quality, then you treat your employees with quality care. Give a
yeah.
damn about your women who are working.
Agreed.
Period.
Yep.
Give a damn about your country because if you do that with your country is going to fall apart anyways.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have to care. I mean, Jefferson even said everybody in the country for a democratic system to work, everyone has to have literacy, and everyone needs to understand how laws work. I think that's very important. Education is that he's basically talking about education. Education is super important in that, and we need to be much more knowledgeable about these facts of these things too. because we need to be able to make those choices. A lot of times people are making choices against their best self-interest, best interest of the country and each other and themselves, is because they're uneducated. They don't know any better. They think this is what it is because they're listening to somebody else who is in a position of authority who's telling them, oh, you should do this, all the while, screwing them over,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Correct.
And other countries do not function this way.
No. So I'll say my point from my experience. I quit. I quit a job when my third kid was born. Was that when it was? Yeah. Because after having my third kid, and getting back into the routine of the things, and it was just a couple months later, and my company, IT, they call you. I'm 24/7. I have to be. That's just my lot in life with my career. And I'm gonna say this, as I know both of you are animal lovers, just like I am.
Mm-hmm.
But when someone called me at 2 p.m. on a Sunday and said, "Hey, you need to take care of this," I go, "I'm at my kid's birthday party." And they go, "Well, that's not important. I have dogs, so I know what you're going through." And I'm like, that's not even close to the same thing. So when you put, I will get to it. I have to give me 30 minutes to get home to an hour to get home, and I will take care of it. But when you say that work is more important than my family, I'm out.
Mm-hmm.
Hands down. I have to have that work and life balance, and I do that with Kyber Cave, do with this and do with the podcast. I have to have that work life balance, and any place that doesn't accept that, I'm just not going to be part of your company.
Here's an interesting, mortality rates with women who are giving birth actually have skyrocketed in the last few years.
Yes.
Just to give you guys an idea, like we are now back to the same levels of maternity deaths than we have. Yeah, I saw them. Maternity deaths than we've had in the last 60 years. Just to give you ideas. This is why it's so important to give these women time to recover. Also, but if you have any other ideas, please comment
Yes.
down below. We'd like to have this conversation with you. We don't want to talk at you. We want to have the conversation with you. So, hey, Dan.
Howdy. I heard an interesting fact the other day saying that right now is the most amount of children we will ever have on this planet again.
Most likely, yes.
Because of the fertility rates in different countries that are dropping, that they're saying that this is the peak of children we will ever have before we start declining.
You know why? Because all of our nutrition is freaking synthetic.
Also, these laws right here, so people aren't having as many kids.
Yep.
Right.
And so they've made it so too expensive to have children.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I mean, the younger generation, they can't even get out of their parents' house, let alone talk about trying to, bring up more babies.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's been getting harder and harder. You look at the protesting that's happening in France right now. They're protesting over 2 years of, retirement being bumped back for 2 years, and the whole goddamn country is melted down. You're not seeing that in American media right now because the American media doesn't want us to start, rebelling for our rights here.
Right.
No, you have to watch TikTok for that.
Isn't that kind of crazy and strange? That's where you got to go for your news now is TikTok
and YouTube, because you can do it with YouTube.
Right.
I mean, I could have sworn there's people in the 80s that fought for my right to party.
Yes.
Much love, MCA.
But I mean, won't somebody think of the children? I mean, we have to.
I know. Think of the children. We just care about them before they're born, though. After they're born, we don't care. Not really. Anyway.
Yeah, I personally have been having a lot of existential kind of like deeper thought moments. Hopefully none of my students are watching right now, but like I've been working in education so long, and when you look at the history of education and why it started, how oh god, who was it that started Standard Oil? Standard Oil.
JP Morgan? No.
It was in that time period.
It's in that time period. It's the Robert Banks. There's JP Morgan and there's it's the Robert Barons. Oh my God, why is this blank? Why am I blanking on this?
He was
It's
revered because when he
hilarious.
died, he gave his millions of dollars towards, building
Rockefeller.
Rockefeller. That's what I was thinking of. I was thinking of Morgan. It was either Morgan or Rockefeller. And that's who it was. It was Rockefeller.
If you research, Rockefeller was one of the main backers of public education. He dumped millions, and which would convert to billions of dollars nowadays. But he dumped millions into American public education. But if you look at it, it had nothing ever whatsoever did it have anything to do with bettering the individual. It was to be able to get people, these stupid farmers who don't know anything but feeding sheep, to teach them enough so that they can run machines in factories that he owned. And now we're no longer that type of country. We're a service industry country. Which is,
we don't really have any more warehouses or rather not even just warehouses. We don't have any like manufacturing.
We manufacture prisons. That's what. So yeah, I just wish, I don't know why it seems so difficult, but I just wish we would use best practices from around the world. Like I was just watching this documentary a few nights ago about the differences between food in different countries like Japan and Sweden and America for like school lunches. And I remember as a preschool teacher, like one of the things that we had to do is we had an in-house chef, and it would always be a very nutritional meal, and the teachers would have to sit down and eat the meal alongside with the children to encourage them to eat, their vegetables and things that, they wouldn't necessarily want to eat. And all the time, I mean, we would all teach about how nutrition went hand in hand with education. So then you start,
because it does.
High school kids donuts and shit for breakfast, and you want to call this nutritionally? It's by the state of California's laws, it's nutritionally balanced because I've got a couple of apple slices in there and I've got milk in there.
That's loopholes.
The donuts count as the wheat. But
our wheat is not terribly healthy for us. But anyway,
segue.
Yeah, think of.
I had the segue. I already put it up.
Did we? Oh, he did it all sneaky like.
Yeah, he already did.
Ooh, what's more important for kids? Grave or behavior? Ooh.
By the way, my.
We lost you there.
Oh gosh, darn it!
Yeah, you're back on now.
It's Morgie.
Well, I want to hear from Mr. Teacher himself.
Do you guys think
so this is my child, because the whole dog's comment. This is my child, but I don't have a real child, so.
I was going to ask you, as parents, and people that are around younger ones, do you guys think that they go hand in hand at all?
Grades and behavior?
Yeah.
No, I was a horrible student, but I got straight A's. So no, I don't
think
you're
a horrible student, but you got it's horrible student. Meaning what? Like like vandalizing the school or something? Or
I ditched most every other day in my senior year. I slept in class, but I was able to do that and still get A's, so I didn't care.
Right, but you also were you a juvenile delinquent? I mean, did you rob cars or destroy property?
I can make no comment on the latter one.
See, because I don't necessarily think behavior means, like, okay, just because you didn't necessarily get like the best grades, but you also didn't, go and do harm to your public or something like that, people around you. So, I can almost see a bit of a correlation. It seems to me that people that would take their studies more seriously, or that was actually a concern, that the behavior kind of goes with it. You know what I mean? There's certain behaviors you have to have or adopt to get those good grades.
Yes and no. Yes, I'd say yes and no, because I know my mentor in college, he had kids, and his 11-year-olds knew how to program and code and everything like that. Right. So really, really smart. They had zero social skills.
Right.
And people that, unfortunately, I saw that even with the top people in my grade, is they had zero social skills because they're too busy studying for those grades. And so I think that is leaning way too hard to one side. I think it needs to be a balance.
Right.
Because you can be the smartest person in the world, but if you can't interact with someone, it's going to do nothing for you.
Right.
It's true. Social skills are super important.
So I mean, we look at, as Ark, as you know, at least I don't know if it's in that way in California, but here in Indiana, standardized testing scores and grades determine teachers' pay raises and bonuses.
Oh wow!
Oh my god, dude! It's
So-
like not in Florida.
So, oh yeah, I mean, go Red States. That's so they focus.
Is that like more? It's like the moral tenure thing. Is that what that is?
It's people
Like
they want. It's because statisticians and people that look at metrics apply that to the schooling system to determine if a teacher is doing well or not as being a teacher. Is the metrics. You could have an entire class of students that are not able to learn right, or they don't have time to learn everything, and they don't get the attention they need to learn everything. So therefore, they're going to have lower grades. Therefore, the teacher who's doing their damnedest to do everything they can isn't being evaluated as being a good teacher.
That is correct. If your students fail at testing, you have failed as a teacher. That's how it's viewed here.
Yes.
And that is wrong.
Yeah.
I'm happy to say that. I think it's completely wrong. You've got a lot of kids who are in lower income schools or situations where they don't know where they're going to sleep that night. They don't know if they're going to get a meal after this crappy school lunch that they have. And they talk. We've talked about it, Aubrey. Maslow's pyramid of
the hierarchy of needs.
Thank you. I can speak the language. I promise. But like I used to say,
this man is very intelligent here. He's actually very intelligent. He's fun to talk to.
that guy over there he's really smart.
Van doesn't know what he's talking about. So go ahead, Van. I'm pointing at him. Okay, am I pointing at there? Is that better? It's because my screen is flipped. I think it's because it's mirrored. That's why. Because to me, I look like I'm pointing towards Van. And I'm looking at my screen. So I apologize.
I often used to say, if a child doesn't know where their meal is going to come from, they're not going to pay attention to math. If a child doesn't know where they're going to sleep, they're not going to pay attention to my reading. And in fact, to me, as a teacher, if your child is in that situation, the most important thing you can do for that child has nothing to do with education. The most important thing you can do for that child is letting them know that. Are you pointing at John Cena?
Yeah, I'm totally pointing at John Cena. Whatever it is.
The most important thing you can do is listen to that child and be as understanding and help them if you can get the resources for their family. At the preschool that I used to work with, we had a whole book of like county resources. If you were having trouble getting money for food, if you were having trouble paying your electricity bill, we had all these organizations that our parents could tap into, because if the parents' lives aren't going well, the kids aren't going to be able to be productive learners.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Okay, am I pointing in the right direction now?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I had my screen mirrored. I just unmirrored
it. I feel like I loved being a preschool teacher, and in all honesty, it was the best job I've ever had. It was probably one of the few jobs, and I will tell you this right now, I don't feel this way at the school that I work at right now, but it was one of the few jobs where I could see the difference that was being made. You know what I mean? I could see these children growing and adopting and learning social skills, which, like, was it Aaron that was saying that, a lot of these kids don't have the social, or was it Grave or Aaron that was saying that Grave was saying that they were good in
terrible in
work,
school, but got good grades.
So weird hearing my real name on stream.
Oh yeah, it is weird. Actually, I didn't even. I was like, Aaron, who's Aaron?
Exactly.
Yeah, a lot of these times it was funny. They were saying that, like, In fact, Google did research on people with autism and people that were on the spectrum, and they were
Hmm.
finding that even people with neurodivergency that have different types of ways of thinking, some jobs are actually perfect for them, right? So if you're the type of person that maybe doesn't like to be around people and you can get hyper focused, IT work might be the job for you.
Hey, I mean, you're not wrong. But
And they were saying that, like, if you look at like how businesses are made, it's usually not the A students that run the company. It's the A students that work for the C student who's just good at social skills. They know how to look. You want a perfect example? The three of you sitting here right now.
Mhm.
I have no skills whatsoever. I can barely turn this computer on, but somehow I roped the three of you in here.
Fair. These are fair facts.
That's
That's because you knew my mentor, though. To be fair, that's
Yeah,
because
you know what?
Henry. That's because Henry got us talking to each other. I blame this on Henry. Henry, it's all your fault.
Yeah, and then your mentor's nephew happened to be my employee.
That's true. Yes, he did.
So yeah, there's definitely I've been very disillusioned a lot lately with education. The problem is I don't know what to do about it, and I don't know about my place in it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm feeling like if I can't actually educate, like, what the hell am I doing? You know what? I honestly sometimes I feel like more like a prison guard than I do.
Do you really?
Okay, so I work in I won't say the name of the school. I work at a special needs school, and like some of these kids have one-to-one counseling, right? Meaning they have to have one teacher for one student.
Yeah.
So like in my classroom, there's like 7 teachers in the classroom. But if these kids want to ask a question, they have to raise their hand to ask the question. The question, can I throw my trash away? Yes, go throw your trash away. Can I go to the bathroom? To go to the bathroom, I have to escort them to the bathroom and stand outside the door to make sure they don't get in some kind of, I don't know, destroying property or something like that. But like I said, and a lot of times we've got radios on, dude. There's nothing more heartbreaking than having to hold down a student because they are getting violent. You know what I mean? And you feel for them while they're on the ground, but you also know that if I don't hold you down, you could attack 5 other students at the school. You know, and then like some of our kids, like I have 11-year-olds doing first grade math. You know what I mean? And this is somehow acceptable. I don't know. They're not trying to get him up to where he should be. They're just trying to keep him alive to get him to the next grade level.
Well, then I want to pose, a question to you, Ark and Forrest, and I'll also throw this to Captain as well. You with people with kids, do you ever care about your kids' grades, or do you care about how much trouble they get into?
Well, I assume that when kids are acting out, when kids are having behavior issues, it usually has something to do with what's going on in the home or circumstances around them. So generally, when a kid is acting out, it's because usually, not always, but usually there is either a problem in the home, like something is happening in the home that is causing the child to act out. Mental illness, which is another one. Again, these are not always. There are always exceptions for this. Or they're bored. They're just
And
bored in school.
I'd like to include not only the home, but it could be they could be in a sport thing that
That
maybe
too.
their coach is being inappropriate or church
Yes.
or something.
Yeah. It's usually something outside the school that's causing them to behave. That's why I said not always, and I'll take that addendum. Yeah.
Right.
Then that is generally then what is happening.
Right.
And it may not always be abusive. Things that are going on in the home, it may be emotional, it may be mental, it may be that they're dealing with, as you said, they don't know where they're going to sleep at night.
Right.
So it's a number of factors why kids act out. So when a kid is acting out, I think it's more important to, instead of just being like, well, your grades have completely dropped, and you're acting out. I mean, they usually are. There are some links to them. but
Right.
generally they're about, you
I
know,
have
they tend to go
I have
hand
a
in hand.
saying. My saying is it's never the what but the why. Meaning
Mm-hmm.
if somebody is doing something, if somebody kicks the dog, right? You don't
Yes.
just look at them and scold them for kicking the dog. You want to find out what was it inside them that caused them to think that by kicking the dog they were going to feel better about life. And that's really where you got to attack the root of the problem. You can't
Mm-hmm.
just put sugar on something. If a kid is not eating at all, giving him crap food, I mean, I guess you're keeping him alive, but you're not making it better. You know what I mean?
Right. I
So
agree.
for,
Also, oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to ask Forrest, what he thought with his kids as they're getting older and getting out of high
Yes.
school. Were you ever that concerned parent, like, oh, you gotta see, or would you be more concerned about, oh, you punched someone in the face?
I mean, sometimes it's warranted.
Sometimes.
And sometimes you just got to hit people in the nose with a sword, don't you?
Sometimes violence is the answer. Sometimes you just got to raptor it up. Sorry, I apologize. Anyways, continue, Mr. Paul.
There is something to be said that education and respect can go hand in hand. If you have if you have students who respect their teacher, they're going to learn more.
Right.
That's kind of how it. I mean, that's kind of how it was. When I was growing up and especially in elementary and middle school. I mean, there was, and obviously as you get older, the respect kind of declines because kids are entering into those hormonal stages, and they're still trying to figure out who the hell they are. Hell, even in their 20s, they're still trying to figure out who they are.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, I do believe at marginally.
Maybe
Yes,
some of us haven't grown up yet. I don't know what you're talking about.
respect and education do go hand in hand. However, I don't really think I don't think it's a fair question, to ask what's more important. I mean, respect is very important. Grades are also very important. But the real question you should be asking is, what are the younglings learning? What are they learning, and are they retaining it?
Right.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
um, the same can be said for the behavior. Are they learning anything from the consequences of their actions, or is the behavior continuing? These are all things that have to be addressed. Um, and it's a day by day thing. I still every now and again have to correct my children, and one's going to be 18 soon.
Learning.
um, but yeah,
I mean, did you ever get upset with a grade?
I mean, define upset.
You got a D in English. You should speak English. You should get better than a D.
No, but hey, I see you got an F in this class right now on this progress report, so we're going to put the video games away until you bring that up a bit.
Right. But it is a change. You're doing a change in behavior to make the grades better.
Yes, or you're removing the factors that are causing the child stress.
We call that negative reinforcement.
Wait, what? Hold on. Okay, somebody's mic is super loud. I don't know whose it is. Like the
Hold on.
room tone.
Oh, it's
Is it
Of course
me?
it's bad.
oh yeah, it's you.
I got this goddamn ice machine in here, dude. I gotta get out of the kitchen.
We got some comments, by the way, guys.
Yeah, I'm
Just so
hands
you know.
off. Ark's here, so I'm not running it.
All right. Well, I'll do this. Here you go.
Oh.
Oh wow, thank you, Brian. Hey, I just had it. Thank you, Brian. Brian, what are your thoughts on the topic?
Yes, please. I would love to hear your comments, Brian. Brian is my
Let's-
friend, by the way, so he's just being
Thank you
very
for tuning
biased,
in,
being
Brian.
nice. Yeah.
If the teachers were given their way, they could flay them into shape. Jesus Christ! But their hands are tied in the bleeding hearts of an artist. Jesus Christ! Okay, I do not endorse that comment.
Hold on,
That
Swiss
comment
didn't
has
read
nothing
that.
to do with Kyrie Game Productions.
Children who say put their hands or
Hey, Grave, I was gonna say we have
so
one
funny,
rule
Swisted.
in my house, with my kid. My kid right now is on honor roll, so like hit a low grade for him is like a B minus. Um, so we
Oh,
don't focus on that as much. But one of the rules that I have in my house is that he must be involved in some type of activity. He is
mhm.
not allowed to just come home and watch video game or play video games 7 days a week. He can, I don't care if it's soccer, I don't care if it's music, it's acting, I don't care if it's computer, whatever he wants to do,
if it's
as long as
esports.
it's something social. As long as it's something social where he's required to interact with other people. That's my only requirement, is that he has to do some kind of activity. And we do talk to him. Primarily, his
Excuse
mother
me.
watches his grades mostly, but
Mm.
he's usually pretty good about that. He has pretty good self motivation on
Well,
that.
so Swisted, just so you know, music is actually tied to science, both science and language interconnectedly. So if you take away our arts,
Science and
you
math.
actually help you. Yeah, it also ties to math. If you take away our arts and our artists, you don't have society, because the artists are the ones who generally lead society, and this is true. This is absolutely true. So just saying, we lead the world. We lead the world, baby. So.
What's up, Ceylon? I was just talking to somebody about this the other night. We were talking about the importance of arts. A lot of times, this is why
I think you and I were talking about this last. I think we talked about this either last week or the week before too.
Yeah, I was talking about. I was saying how my philosophy as a producer, whenever I put on a show, because I used to do spoken word poetry shows all the time. But my philosophy was, which was not the philosophy of every producer, but my philosophy was, if I make money, you make money as an artist. Now, it may only be $10 for gas if I only made, $30 at the door. You know what I mean? But I'm not one of these producers who will be like, oh, you should come do my show. It's really good exposure for you. You know what I mean? And then, I'm making $500 and I'm not even going to give you, food or whatever. You know what I mean? My philosophy is, if the people at the top are making any kind of money, everybody throughout has to make some kind of money. But, like I said, a lot of times some people will be just like, hey, I'll just give you exposure. But we were talking about how important, especially if you look at the pandemic that we just went through, the only thing that kept this planet together was arts. YouTube blew up.
Oh yeah, definitely.
If you look at New Rock Stars, New Rock Stars were shows away from shutting down. And because of WandaVision and because people being stuck inside their house, their catalogs blew up, because people had time to go back and watch their old streams and, make them, help them grow. And look at New Rock Stars now. So yeah, I definitely think the arts, we don't value it as much, especially in this country. And I will tell you this: do you remember when fucking what was the dickhead's name? George Bush. When he had the No Child Left Standing policy.
The No Child Left Behind. Yes,
right,
I know, because I got to see the exact direct results of that. I was in school when it got implemented.
Dumbest crap ever made.
It was specifically designed to shave out the arts and the arts, the sports programs, the music programs, because they understand that by doing music, by doing stage productions, by doing painting, these are what leads to self-thought. These are what lead to independence and people being able to think outside the box. But that's not what America's about. America doesn't want children to think outside the box. They want them to think inside this box. And if you need any information outside of that, we will give it to you. And you will be told what to do. But besides that, this is what I need you for.
So let's bring that home. Operating inside this box, would you consider that a result of people focusing on grades or people focusing on behavior? Because I mean, part of the behavior thing is there is a quote unquote indoctrination happening to get kids to, let's say it, fall in line. And
Right.
Yes.
in order for them to fall in line, they need to be shown what behavior is necessary for them
Mm-hmm.
to fall in line.
Right.
So, but again, falling in line could also be from grades, your GPA. You're not getting into this school that we are prepping you for without said grades, but you need to have the right attitude. And we've seen it all before.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, I guess my question to you, sir, is how does that play into the grades and behavior from your perspective?
Attitude.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they're the symbiotic. I mean, obviously, your children are going to have a better attitude about school if the teachers have a better attitude about school. If the
Yes.
Correct.
teachers enjoy what they're doing and they're bringing in lesson plans, kids
Yes.
don't learn by looking at pieces of paper. And I mean, I guess that's one school of thought is you just keep having them do the same shit over and over and over again until it's burned into their fucking brains.
I
Or-
mean,
or
it has been shown
something-
that
you
it has
can
been
teach
shown that. Sorry, go
something
ahead,
that
man.
they're actually interested in. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
No, they've actually shown studies that homework is actually more detrimental to a child's learning than actually helpful.
Mhm.
And this is true. Unless it's work home, you could do work at school, but taking it home is actually detrimental. I mean, you could take it home after if you don't finish it all, which is fine. But if you assign homework to kids, that is actually detrimental to children's learning. They have
It is
found,
because
and this is true.
they can be using that time to spend with their family to get more of that social development that Graves was talking about, right? They could be doing that time. Especially when I was in preschool, and keeping in mind everything in preschool is a lot easier than the other grades. That's why I was a preschool teacher. I only had to count to 31. That was all I was
Oh,
required
that's
to do.
funny.
But I mean, I would tell parents, don't have your child sit at the table for 30 minutes doing math packets and ABC packets. You want to teach them about math? Go do some cooking. You want to
Yeah.
teach them about math? Go to the grocery store
That
and
is the
start adding
best
things.
math you can ever teach a child is when
Mhm.
you want to teach a kid how to round. You say, we got $60. You take this can of whatever that's $2.99, round up, and let's put stuff in the cart, and we're gonna round up. If it's 49, round down. If it's anything over
Mhm.
50, round up.
Right.
You want to teach a kid about like good, quick
Fractions.
head math?
Mhm.
Take him to the store. That's exactly how my dad did it, and my God, it worked great.
You want to teach kid fractions? Put them in the kitchen. But get them cooking. Get them
Yes.
into some
The
recipes.
cups, the cup set, the third of a cup, the quarter of a cup,
Exactly.
fifth
What
of
if
a
I
cup.
need to add a third of a cup and a fourth of a cup?
Now, one thing I would say that I mean, I had 2 points. So just because a grade that a child does fail does not mean that means they're terrible at that subject or that they are stupid.
Right.
It just means generally because you're grading homework, which a lot of kids have a problem with. Speaking of personal experience, I was the highest tester. I was the highest tester in my science class, but because my homework didn't get to the teacher very well, I would get lost somewhere. I failed middle school science.
I have so many kids that are exactly opposite. They turn in all their homework. They're great kids. They listen, but when it comes to a test, they get frustrated and
Yeah.
they can't think for shit. So I know
Yeah.
they know the information because we just did this together yesterday. But when it comes to test time, they get flustered and then they don't
Right.
know how to do it and they bomb the test.
Because
And
Some people are just
because-
great
because
testers.
test pressure and anxiety is real. If there were a level of comfort introduced with the testing, it wouldn't be
Mhm.
so bad. If these kids were not, if it weren't drilled into their brains, your future depends on this one examination. Don't tell somebody that their future depends upon a freaking piece of paper.
Right.
Don't do
Right.
that shit. No wonder you have bad SAT and ACT scores. Because they're like, well, if you can't get this particular mark, you're not getting into this university. Seriously? What about all the great things that you've learned over the past 12, 13 years?
Right.
Does that not matter for anything? I guess not.
And the other thing is that we have to understand as a country
Bullshit.
that learning comes in different forms. There's visual learning, there's
Yes,
oral learning, there's kinetic learning, meaning some people just got to
you have
get
to
their
do it.
hands on things and start moving things around, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Some people just like to fidget with things. Those are the kids, by the way, that you see doodling in their notebooks while the teachers are giving lectures. Doesn't necessarily mean they're not listening to the lectures, but some kids need to have their hand moving at the same time for them to absorb things. Are you
ADHD people have that all the time. That's I used to
exactly?
doodle all the time.
I
But
saw
as I
this.
said, I was a great test taker. I could take tests and just nail them. And
Right,
that my science teacher was like baffled because she gets the highest grades in all the tests, but because her homework magically disappears, I have to fail her. And so my mom and her worked out a system where they would go through. She's like, "Well, I know she's doing the homework. I've seen her do it."
right.
So she would have to, after class, she would have to, or sometimes even in the middle of class, she would come and we would have to look in my backpack for the homework together. It
Right.
was very embarrassing, but you know what? My grades did improve. But it was, it's just one of those things. It's like, this is where homework can be a detriment to you.
I saw this cool little like Facebook short this morning, and it
Hmm.
was a teacher that was saying they were saying, you know, that one student that always gets in trouble, they can't keep their hands to themselves, that can't keep quiet. He was
Hmm.
saying he was like, if you take that child out into nature, that child will become the leader of the classroom. It's
Hmm.
not that they can't learn, it's that the learning environment that you have them in is not correct for them.
It's not conducive. Yeah.
Exactly. And you know what? Some people are going to grow up to be rock stars. Some people, there are people that know all their life, I'm going to be a musician. That's just what it is. And for that person, why do they need physics or some of these other classes? I do realize we should be well rounded, but
Yes.
there are much better class. I would like to see education be more like real world. Like I would
And
love to bring back the cooking classes, the wood shop classes,
Home
uh, the
I took wood shop.
mechanics.
I did take wood shop. I took
You did, but a lot of the
physically
kids
training.
nowadays don't.
But I will also contend that actually people who are musicians actually are really good in physics. We actually we get it. Weird math. Maybe it's the weird math and music. I don't know.
I'm
But
really great at physics. I am awful at music.
no. There's just a correlation between
There's a
Not at
correlation
all of
between
it.
math and science,
math and sciences.
math,
Yeah,
science, and particularly music.
Once
It
again,
music.
has
It's
great,
music
great
and
at math and
language, and
science.
music and math. Probably because you were told that you weren't ever going to be good at music. You probably
I
might
was
if you
told to
looked at.
never be good at anything. So
Well, okay, but I mean, if you look at theory is actually not that much different than physics or math. I mean, it's not. It really
no,
isn't.
I
It's
mean,
all math.
I'm sure it's just because the way my brain is. Like I can tell you right now, I was absolutely bored my entire time in school, all the
Hmm.
time, just
Yeah.
because I got it and I didn't need to listen to it for 45 minutes. And
Graveyard. Let me ask you a question. What kind of school would have benefited you more? Like, do you think like if you went to a vocational school, maybe like something where you got hands-on learning to do a particular trade, or what would
um,
have kept you interested?
it's like I said, I was I'm not trying to brag. I was an AP everything in my junior year of high school, so I was already done with math and science by my junior year of high school with all the credits I needed. My senior year, I needed 0 credits to graduate.
Wow.
Mm.
So for me, it's because it was like it's. I'm not saying it's the because of the No Child Left Behind, but a lot of people had to work harder to grasp the concept, like especially with math and science. It just came so naturally to me and still does.
Hmm.
It's just you can get me absolutely drunk. I'll be able to do all the calculus in my head still. It's just that ingrained into my head.
Yeah, I'm not that good. I'm not anywhere near that good. I couldn't actually do that.
I'm
That's
not
that's
one of those
actually
kind of
freaking
Asians.
amazing.
So I mean, it's for me. I don't know. It's because I should have started college earlier, and I still graduated college too early too. And it's just for me. For the field I was in, I should have gone. There was a career center that was teaching all the stuff ahead of time that I should have gone to.
Mm.
Now I couldn't take wood shop in high school because my counselor said no. I have to do more academic math, science
sucks.
stuff. But
Right.
I did take, but instead of, like I said, the art part of art, the creation of pieces of art, I did do drama, I did do speech and debate, I did do chess club, I did other forms of art and drama as well. So just because I like to be a problem solver, and so that helps gets me the creative juices going for me, is having the problem and then figuring out how to solve it. Now, I'm sure if I applied it to music, I might be able to do it. I have short, stubby fingers, so guitars aren't for me. But no, it's vocational school, I think, would have been better. Like I said, the teachers always told my parents that I am just absolutely bored in school because I'm miserable, because I don't need to listen to the teachers to know how to do stuff. So,
Right.
so being taught to stand in line, to think, I was raised by my dad to not make waves, to not stand out, to be in that cog in that machine, because that's the only way to get ahead in life. So, I mean, obviously I rebelled against that, but
Right. And really, if you look at the modern school system, you look at the bell system, the lunch system. I heard this one TikToker was saying, we're not, all the things that we're taught to do earlier, that we're taught to do in school, is not the way you would do things in a business, right? So
No.
in school, we're taught to work by yourself, to take a test by yourself, learn by yourself. But when you get into the work world, you need to learn how to work with people. So they're not setting you up for the work world; they're setting you up for prison system.
Well,
They're setting kids up to be compliant when they're told to do something by an authority figure.
Right. And I can tell you from last year, my oldest had issues doing homework and stuff like that. There was a big fiasco. She was diagnosed with, ADD and stuff like that. We got it tested just to make sure there was that, because my wife and her family came from having learning disabilities growing up. My family came from excelling in school and not having issues. So we had two very upbringings with that.
Right.
But teachers are saying they want 3 hours of homework a day in my state.
Oh, jeez.
But it's so shitty. It actually works against the child.
Yeah. So I mean, as a parent, I'm making sure that my kids are comfortable with what they're doing. I want them to have. I don't want to just show them how to do it. I want them to learn it and figure it out, because I think the aha moment is more rewarding than just telling them 2 times 4 is 8. Just deal with it.
Right. Totally.
So I do that with with my kids, with cooking for the fractions, stuff like that, or with money and percentages. I go, hey, you have $40 to go to Target. What can you get? Do the math, figure out what you can get for $40.
Right. I used to teach adult literacy for like 12 years at the library. For like most of those years it was volunteer, but there was some years that I was actually staff or whatever. And I always had two philosophies whenever I taught, whether it was somebody who was 70 years old or 7 years old. There's only two rules that I had for teaching. A, it's got to be interesting. Don't come at them with a piece of paper and a notebook. Present it in an interesting way. And B, it's got to be relevant to their life. If they can't figure out where this applies to their life, they're not going to have any damn interest in it.
Right. And with go back to the testing and sitting on the AD testing and stuff like that, is, the teachers or the doctor said that we weren't teaching my kids certain things that are common knowledge. Like, why do you put, postage on a letter? I go, that's not relevant anymore. No one usually sends out mail anymore with postage.
Right.
You don't really care.
It's a dying art.
Right.
How come your kids don't know how to use a checkbook?
Most people, I don't, trust me.
Most
I
people don't.
was a bank teller, and I had someone telling me I still have checks in my checkbook, therefore I have money. I go, the checks don't disappear when you're out of the money.
No.
I wish it was that way, man.
No.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So, and to that point, we can teach math, but with money, because let's face it, with cashiers, it's important for people to know how to math, so you have balanced drawers, so you know how to get your job and function, stuff like that. So if we applied mathematics to, like, as far as saying everyday life, it's a lot easier, as opposed to this, here's this new stupid core math system. Here's the chart. Here's how you draw all these lines. And you take half a page to solve the problem. That's unnecessary, I think.
Right.
I don't think it's doing any good in teaching math any better. I know the country is trying to skyrocket us past other countries by doing more work and not making it fun. So, we are, and this time back to behavior, is school has become more of a chore and a burden than a place to learn and have fun and create friendships.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's because they're teaching us to go to the test, and you have the standing test. And as you're saying, you have these kids who get test anxiety, and they don't do well. Then everything suffers, unfortunately, because the schools don't get the funding. That goes to kids get in trouble because their grades will suffer. I mean, it's horrible, and then they lose out on learning the deeper meaning of things so that they can understand what they're looking at. Critical thinking gets lost. That was something that my English teacher, my high school English teacher, Mrs. O'Toole, she lamented that when they got the new books. She's like, I can't teach Shakespeare anymore. Was it too highbrow for people? And it's actually really important to understand Shakespeare, just because you need to understand language and you understand like the thinking part of that, because that still applies even now when deciphering coded language and language itself. That's why it's important. But it also is fun. Makes it fun. Why can't we have fun? So I agree with you. I absolutely agree.
Fun is an important part of education. You look at the entire animal kingdom, right? I mean, dogs learn how to get their skills, as an adult dog, on how to go find the food or whatever by playing as a child. I just pick dogs, but any animal, a tiger, they wrestle together so that they can learn how to take down, pack animals when they're older.
I will say one thing, though. I do think that certain skills that do need to be practiced, like music skills, I think they should be inherently trained into that. That's the one where I'm like, you have an hour of practice or 3 hours of practice, whatever. I mean, as long as you make it fun. But I think that is really important, because that does teach someone to keep going, to determination, to get through something. Do I think that's the same is true for homework? No. But I do think practicing a skill such as music or an instrument, I do think that is really important, because a lot of people in this country are also under the what's that? That the arts are also easy. Like, anybody can be an artist. Yes, but also it requires, to be good at it, it requires discipline. It requires a lot of practice. I didn't get as good as I did singing by just being like, yeah, I'm going to be a singer, and that's it. I had lessons. I spent hours and hours practicing to get where I am, and that's something that's very true. So I think that is very.
Yeah. I agree on the instruments, but for the love of God, can it stop being the recorder?
Yes, the recorder is awful. Can we please not?
Please.
Hey man, if it wasn't for the recorder, you wouldn't have the Mandalorian theme song.
The recorders can be played well, but can we just not? If we need to, can we just make it a clarinet? Can we just do it that way? You have to start in something.
No, but I said I think if you have learning fun, then they don't know they're learning.
Right, exactly.
Be good.
That is the best kind of education. It's hard to do on a daily basis, but if you can do it, I mean, we've all of us here have had good teachers, and all of us here have had teachers that we can remember that we just hated sitting through their class every day.
Mm-hmm.
And you think about, what was it that made that teacher good?
We love you too, Mets.
I know. I saw the T-shirt today, Mets. Oh, I'm so excited. Have you guys seen the new merch?
Yes.
We have not. I haven't yet. I'm sure. Is it in the chat?
I don't know if she put I think she just got it because I went to the store. That was why I was late, by the way, guys. I apologize. I had to go load up for a convention.
It's okay. We started on time. It's fine.
Woo! I'm sure St. Long gave me a bunch of shit for that. But yeah, I was loading up the stuff at the store, and I got to see Mezzo had stuff delivered to the store for some reason instead of her own house. But she had the coffee cup and the T-shirt, and it's so cool. I want it so bad. I guess she has a backpack coming in.
That's where I get the pod merch from. Is that same place? So.
Oh, that's the company or whatever.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, with the backpacks, I'm really excited. We're so it's a regular backpack, but I'm talking about. I was telling her when they come in, I want to take it to another tailor to get it modified and to get a couple of straps added onto it so that you can put your Saber. Like there's a water bottle pouch, but I'd put a strap at the top so you can put a Saber there, and on the other side make a couple of straps so you can put your blade, so it'll turn into a Saber carrying bag and regular backpack too.
Oh, I might need to get some extra battle sabers. I don't know with the tournament. I might have to get some of the
blades.
The blades, yes.
The blades.
I might have to.
Yeah, if you're doing the Lightspeed tournament, Lightspeed uses their own set of blades. It's 3/4, but we can get. I want to say it's like $25 for two. It's not expensive at all. And yeah, well, I definitely want to talk to you about that because Kyber Cave would, if you're interested in that, Kyber Cave will sponsor you to some degree. I will get. I was thinking of well, we got to figure out hotels and stuff. But.
Yeah, we'd have to figure out all that plus flight time, or what the cost of flights are, and that would be it's a lot. Like it's a lot.
Well, then you'd also have to have somebody picking you up. So I don't know. Like typically, I drive down to Vegas. That's a 6-hour drive.
So just so you guys know, so everyone knows what we're talking about. I'm doing a tournament tomorrow with TSL.
You're doing TSL tomorrow?
I'm doing TSL tomorrow.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, I'll be driving to LA to do the tournament and then coming up the next morning.
Oh, snaps. Is anyone going with you?
I have a friend who's going with me.
You better make sure they videotape.
Okay. Yeah, you will see me fail hardcore against these people, but it's fine.
Just remember, they're only playing tag, Aubrey. That's all they're doing.
I mean, I'll murder. I'm sure outside of all the rule sets, I'd probably murder them. I mean, as far as nose.
The nose is a great spot to hit.
Protect your head. This is what I tell David. I tell David every time, protect your head. He actually has learned. It just took him, I don't know, 10 times to get hit in the head or so. Anyways, yeah, so it's a very different thing than what I'm used to fighting. I did a tournament in 2019. So this is my second tournament. Bye, Swisted. Thank you so much.
Bye, love you, dude.
So, and they want, and so since I was participating in that, Arc has asked me if I want to participate in the Lightspeed tournament, being sponsored by KCP. So that's what we're still talking about. That just so you guys know. That was the conversation.
Next month in Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
So I know Ripper Blades is going to be there. We were asked to be there, and in fact, I talked to Mezzy and a couple of people here, but it's a little bit expensive to do without any money coming in. But we were asked to go and set up a merch booth there, and then also do commentary for the fights, which I thought would have been really fun to do the commentary for the fights. But then it takes getting there, hotel rooms. Honestly, with the amount of crowd that's going to be there, we're probably not going to make a ton on the merch booths. It would be more to have it available than really, trying to make a huge profit from it. So in the end, Kyber Cave decided not to go. It was going to be more expensive. However, I would love to send a representative, and especially someone as dope as Aubrey, out there to show them how it's done. Wah, wah, wah. Even X Island made informational graphics for the first topic.
She did. She went above and beyond. Honestly, hats off to her. She's amazing. Met she is the heart and soul of KCP. She's the premier mommy. She's amazing.
I had when we first started KC After Dark, I had a little bit of different ideas on like formatting, and hopefully when we get to growing and we get money in and producers, we can do this. But like I had thought to do almost kind of like how we do in Hearts of Kyber, where we show a video clip that would kind of demonstrate whatever we're talking about. So in this case, we would have had like a little TikTok clip or something talking about grades or behavior beforehand. So yeah, there's ways that all these shows can be upgraded and have more production value. But we'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah, we will.
Aubrey is definitely dope though.
I'm all right. I'm mediocre. But anyways, so we should do pluggables.
Yes, we are running into the last 5 minutes here. Why don't we just start where we're at? Boom.
I am Graveyard, co-host of the Mostly Pod Out at Night Mostly podcast. Still waiting for episodes to be uploaded to Comic Con Radio. If we'll be posting our episodes back up on our regular stuff, follow us anywhere you get your podcast, releasing every Wednesday. Follow us on social media at Pod Out at Night. On top of that, you can find me 3 or 4 days a week over here at Kyber Cave Productions. And on Thursday, running the DC build brackets right now because I'm such a big DC fan. So everyone.
By the way, did Batman the Animated Series win?
We're not there yet.
Oh, okay.
So, and make sure to check out our show tomorrow, Saturday Morning Nerd Out, where we have lots of good stuff talking with you. So I'd like to thank all you cavers, dwellers, and splunkers for always being here supporting us. And make sure to go to kybercave.com, pick yourself up this lovely, the best looking graveyard I've ever seen right here. And for every graveyard you order, there will be a piece of my beard inside of it waiting for you. So that way it'll always grow red with hate.
I mean, I thought you were saving those for the OnlyFans.
I mean,
oh wow. There's actually a Chrome version of that Saber that's really dope too. Oh, and we just got in a Saber. The Frey Saber is in our square, but not on the website yet. So Frey, you were the next one, and then we still got Kevin and James Kaiser to get their own sabers, and I don't have one listed up either. So, but yes, all right, Miss Aubrey.
Hi, I'm the captain. You're a captain. Captain Lady Moon. They all call me Cap here. I'm not sure. Anyways, I am actress, a singer. I have an album on Spotify. You can take a look at it. I was doing a project with the Leo Sarmago under BYL. You should also go take a look at that. Some great songs on there if you like it. Share it. I will be in some movie projects later this year. So yay, all good things. So please. Also, I'm with these lovely people all the time. These lovely people all the time. Yeah, I go and do recording with Mr. Fors. I'm here. I'm on Hearts of Kyber now. And sometimes I'm on Saturday Morning Nerd Out. And sometimes, though not lately, sad face, I sometimes don't go on Retro Alcove. And I also do Wednesdays gaming with the lovely Mets, who's amazing. Yes. We have so much fun on there. It's one of the things I really wanted to do. And we're going to have a new show coming out soon called The New Order, which will be produced by me. So we're going to get it going soon. It's going to happen. So, yeah, keep an eye out for that because it's going to be fun. It's a role-playing. It'll be a role-playing show. So, because that's what I do. Anyways. To you.
Mr.
Go to Mr. Yeah.
All right. Well, I am the one and only Fors FX Saber Sound Designs. When you go to Kyber Cave and you get yourself that Saber, I recommend you go to saberfont.com. Get yourself a sound font created by me or some of my friends, respectively, Juan Sith and Harry Solo Fonts. Check out all the great work that's over there. And if you're not checking that stuff out, then head over to our sister channel, which is Distance Nerding. You'll find myself and the Husbeard Graveyard there on Thursdays doing brackets, nerding it up, doing what it is we do. And if you're not over there, then stick to this channel because you're going to find all of us here being as awesome as we can possibly be. I'm on 3 or 4 shows myself, so as always, keep it here. May the Fors be with you always. I love you guys, and we will see you very soon.
Woohoo! Yeah. And I am Ark in the Dark. I do 3 shows here, as well as Kyber Cave. We are going to be in Benicia from 10 to 5 tomorrow at First Street Park, I believe. It's a free family event. I know David Gonzalez, who we've had on the show, a.k.a. Ak Revs from Jabba's Palace. He is going to be there at the event signing autographs tomorrow. We also have him on our August 4th event in Sacramento as well. Ark in the Dark until I get better lighting. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Bez has got a ring light for me. So make sure to check us out there. On Sunday, we're going to be in Sacramento at Toy Fusion. We will be there from 9 to 2, and then I'll be back in the shop. And then lastly, the week after that, the Saturday after, we will be at Pride in Vacaville. So there are plenty of opportunities to come check out Kyber Cave and check out all of our fun sabers. Also, Fours was mentioning Mr. Juan Sith. If you buy a Kyber Cave saber, a lot of the fonts that are on there are Juan Sith. So if you want to check out his work, you can do that just by picking up a Kyber Cave saber.
Correctamundo.
Yes. I love you guys. You guys rock, dude. It is so nice to come on here. Like, I've had such a crazy week.
Behavior. Jamez, waiting till the very end. How could you? Not comment. Jamez, I'm sad. You could have joined us in this lovely conversation, and yet you stayed silent. Silent disapproval.
Hey, actually, James, I should talk to you. I need a guest for Sunday night. We haven't had Distance Nerding on in a while. We should have. And I've got more people from Distance Nerding right here on screen. We should have all of you come in.
Sometimes I'm there in Distance Nerding as well. So yes, they're a sister show. They're amazing. You should really go check them out. They do the download on Tuesdays, and they do the build on Thursdays, plus the bracket that is led by the one and only Dampy and Mr. Force.
Yes. They are our sister program up in Sacramento. We do so much with Distance Nerding. We absolutely love that crew over there. Half of our crew is their crew.
I was gonna say myself, Husbeard, Frey Girl.
Sometimes the captain is there.
Sometimes Mr. I know. I think I'm the only person that's not there on a regular basis. I just like to watch. I'm just a voyeur.
There you go.
But make sure to check out Distance Nerding. Check out all the stuff on all the places that you podcast. Make sure to check out They Mostly Pod Out at Night Mostly. Hopefully soon on the Comic-Con network. That's sweet. I don't even have to do my own promos. Yeah. Hey, James, let me know if we can officially title Distance Nerding as our guest for Sunday, because I had a Sunday back out. And if you guys aren't available, I can steal these three lovely people, or I can have all of you on together. But let me know if it's okay to officially put Distance Nerding out as our guest for Sunday in whatever capacity whoever is going to show up.
Oh shoot! One last thing, yes. Californian friends, if you are in the Lodi area, June 15th, our very own Rubik's Cube Arcana Anthony is going to be starring in my absolute favorite play of all time, Rent, which is going to be is it in a theater in Lodi, or is it a theater close to Lodi?
I believe it's a theater in Lodi, but I'll double check with Lodi. Anthony, with our very own Levitz. I'll check with our
very own Lavitz. So
yeah, I mean, that's his nickname for me. Or Sidorian.
I am literally freaking out and coming apart at the seams at the fact that I cannot get out there to see that show, because
there'll also be Pride event happening in Lodi on the 10th as well.
Yes, so if you are in that area, please be sure to support our very good friend Anthony / Rubik's Cube Arcana, because that is one bad bitch.
Yes.
That is
and right. Also, of course, thanks to Mezzo for doing all of our graphics. She really is the backbone of our team here, and we would not.
She's the brains of the operation.
Yeah, she does
Saber
everything.
Rattle, she is.
So yeah, just a shout out to her as well.
Yes, and last but not least, I want to shout out to all of our patrons, some of which are on the screen here. Mm-hmm. You guys help support what we do. We do programming 7 days a week, so that there is something always for you to check out with so many different lovely people and personalities. So yeah, if you're into gaming, we've got 3 different gaming shows. We've got a health show. We've got 2 different talk shows. So we've got
lots of pre-recorded shows that we throw out there too. We've already got a full gaming series done, 2 if you count Zelda. So yeah, we're going to just continue to pump out more and more and more content as the days and weeks go by. So stay tuned.
So Matt, are you basically saying we're like the Planeteers? Is that what we are?
Wow.
Anyway,
Grave, give me Don Cheadle.
Heart.
I'm Captain America. Or not Captain America, Captain.
Well, we
Planet.
we could be the Avengers too. So I mean, that's where actually the captain in my Captain Lady Moon comes from. Is from the Avengers. So
Oh, see, I just learned something. All right, y'all. I want to thank you
All right.
guys for hanging out with us tonight. We are Kyber Cave After Dark. We are here every Friday at 8 p.m. unless we're late. But besides that, and like I said, we got programming every morning. Make sure you
and that's
tune
where we
in
get
tomorrow
the
morning, 10 a.m. Pacific time for Saturday morning Nerd Out. That is a super fun show, and I swear, dude, I'm gonna get those cereal bowls made.
I'm waiting.
All right, y'all. Thank you so much. We love you and peace.
Good night, everybody.
Bye. Good night. See ya.
Yo.